Hi, my name's Adam and this is my colleague Will. We're both lawyers at Tempest. Tempest is a litigation funding and debt buying firm, and we wanted to do a video today to talk about a recent win that we've had with an old debt we've been trying to collect for quite some time. So this was a debt that we were engaged and purchased from a finance company, and it was quite an old debt and they had no luck collecting the money. It was about $35,000 and they'd been trying for years to get anywhere with the debtor. They had been given many promises over many years for payment that never came through. So after they got in touch with us at Tempest, Will, why don't you just give us the rundown on what we did to get the result in the end?
Yeah, sure. Thanks, Adam. After we get an assignment of a debt, we will make contact with the debtor, which we did in this case, and said, hey, look, we've been assigned this debt. We need you guys to pay up or to come to some arrangement with us to settle it. They didn't engage in this case for a long time. We ended up serving proceedings on them in the district court. It's purportedly settled 1 or 2 months later, and we agreed to payment terms to wipe the debt clear. We received maybe 1 or 2 payments, and then the debtor dropped off the face of the earth.
We had the same problem that essentially the
assignor
finance company had, is that they got some terms, but then just no follow through.
Yeah, and we were in regular contact with the debtor, but there was every excuse under the sun, from unemployment to starting employment, and
a lot of that we took
promises of payment.
We took at face value for quite some time.
For sure.
So we did allow a very reasonable amount of time to pass before we took the next step.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
And after that broke down, we issued proceedings for a breach of that arrangement, and then we obtained a charging order over the debtor's house, which effectively secured our position for at least a period of 2 years, because they can't refinance or transfer the property with that charge still unsatisfied. We weren't able to make any traction again after we got the charge, and so we applied for a sale order with the High Court. We had to go through the time and the expense of moving the judgment from the district court into the High Court, which was a process in itself, and then obtaining an order from the High Court to sell the debtor's property. We sent the bailiff to his address to recover any monies that he could from chattels, or if he was unable to satisfy the debt from those, then to proceed to a sale campaign of the house.
That's quite an unknown. I think sale orders are a relatively, infrequently used method to get payment of debts, but
Absolutely.
I think they're actually quite powerful because it actually authorizes the court sheriff to go and attend the property and request payment, and if they don't pay, they can take steps to sell assets. They can sell cars, furniture, anything of value. They can go and they can seize and sell, and if they can't get enough money from their, like you said, their chattels, they can actually go and sell a property itself. So it's a very powerful remedy.
I think the rules stipulate that they can take everything but the clothes off your back and tools of trade, and possibly a car or a method of transport or something like that, maybe a bicycle.
Often the sheriff doesn't like, or when we've been engaged in sale orders, the sheriff will prefer not to do any of that and just to sell a property that, like a property instead. I've never actually done a sale order where there hasn't been a property as kind of, like the end collateral,
Yeah,
because I think that there is a very strong preference not to go and take things like, antiques
chattels
and
and
like cars and all of those bits and pieces, and it's easier to do a sale of a property
yeah,
as opposed to doing like a jumble sale. So
yeah.
after we did that sale order process, what happened next?
So when the bailiff attended the debtor's property, the debtor indicated that the property was owned in trust, and that he would make contact with us and the court to make some sort of arrangement. He did eventually make contact with us and um, was a lot more forthcoming with trying to come to some beneficial arrangement for both parties, which was quite helpful. He was intending on selling the property, but either decided against it or I'm not sure, and was able to refinance, and our charging order was satisfied.
So it was
And
I think last Friday we got the charge removed and got paid.
yeah,
But really, I guess the charging order was the key element to actually making sure that the property wasn't transferred or sold without covering
absolutely.
our debt.
Yeah.
Without that, we would have had very little security to get paid.
Mm,
And I think that what this kind of story tells is that there are so many steps that you can take
mm,
to get your money and to secure payment, and they're just they can be time consuming and costly, but they pay off in the end. And
for
I
sure.
guess that's something that at Tempest that we are very experienced at, is actually using all the tools in the toolkit
Mm,
to secure payment and get a result like this, because this will result in funds you know going back to our appointed for the split deal that
mm,
they arrange with us, and
mm.
we get our percentage of that recovery. But that's money that potentially they would never have been able to collect. They would have written
Exactly.
it off long ago.
Mm,
But by engaging with us, they get something out of it in the end,
mm.
which is, I
Yeah,
think, a
it
fantastic
was an
result.
excellent result. Yeah,
Mm,
yeah.
mm,
And our clients were super happy with that as well. And a quick turnaround from us receiving the money to making the distribution as well,
mm.
which is always quite nice.
Yeah, so I guess if there's anyone that has, disputed debts or old debts, or they just don't know all these, mechanisms to potentially enforce them, reach out to Tempest. The link will be in the video below, and have a chat with us about how we can purchase any of these problems, and try and get a similar result in recovery out of that. All right.
Awesome. Thanks, Adam.
Cheers, Will. Bye.
Yes.